the meeting, I'd like to ask, Ms. Pierce to say a prayer for us. And, let's see, Jim Anderson to lead us in the pledge.
Please pray with me. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the protection from the bad weather that went through this morning. We ask that you be with our military, where they may be serving, protect them, watch over them. And as we enter the Christmas season, help us to be ever mindful of the true meaning of Christmas. And ask that you would please forgive us when we fail you, and ask you to be with our commissioners, give them wisdom and help them in decisions they have to make. For these things I ask in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Yeah, call the regular meeting of the City Commission, December 2nd, meeting to order. And thank you all for coming, showing an interest in our city. The first item on the agenda is our consent agenda, which are the minutes of our regular meeting of November 18th. If everyone's had a chance to look over those, find no additional corrections, deletions, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Discussion from the board on the minutes. Anybody in the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. All right, Jim, planning board.
Yes, sir. We have two items before you today. The first one is ordinance 625 for a second reading and adoption. This is the parcels that are on Knowles Avenue that are going to be looked at for your affordable / workforce housing. This will be the second reading and consideration of adoption.
Okay, well, entertain a motion for a second reading and adoption of ordinance 625. Okay, Commissioner Langston made the motion. Mr. Lowry second. Discussion from the board. Anybody in the public? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0.
Ordinance number 625 is ordinance amending the comprehensive plan future land use map of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, by and through procedures required for small scale map amendments pursuant to authority under state statute section 163.3187, specifically changing parcel ID numbers 045891010R, 020R, 030R, and 040R for public use to high density residential 3, providing for the amendment of the zoning map of the city of Port St. Joe from public use PU to residential R3, and providing for repeal of any conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Right.
The next item is ordinance 627. This item came before you at our last commission meeting that was tabled to get some more information. It's in reference to Napoleon Pittman, parcel number 0470200R 522 First Street. Staff was ready to go back to look to see if we could go back to determine at which point that this was brought over to commercial. As far back as we could go, we saw everything as commercial on there. It looks like the property was put in Mr. Pittman's name around 2005. Previous, it was in an LLC that looks like he was a partner in back to 1995. So we went back as far as we could. So it looks like everything is commercial. Now, if the board wanted to change it to residential, that's what this ordinance would do on there. You had an ordinance that was put in place that talked about 4th Street and 3rd Street. But this particular piece of property, everything we found showed it going back to commercial. Like I said, if the board wishes were to change it to residential, that's what this is.
The planning board recommended against
Planning board voted against it.
it. Against.
Unanimous.
I believe it was, yes.
Property owner, is he here, Mr. Pittman?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to come forward and state your name and your case?
Yes, sir. My name is Napoleon Pittman. And I want to bring to the board's attention simply this. Back in 1994, this document is dated March the 1st of 1994. And at this particular time, this property is considered for that, at that particular point in time, to be a store, combination of a store, office, and resident.
Okay, you wanna turn that into our attorney and our
Yeah, you
clerk?
can make a
or
copy of it. The
our
attorney,
Turn it in here.
Thank you, sir.
you can make a copy. And, Mr. Tucker is the one that initially built that property. And when I approached him about buying it,
Insurance.
he was so blessed to discover that I was a military veteran. I was at Turner for 6 years. And not only that, I was a senior elder, still is a senior elder minister in the city. He was blessed by that. So his attitude was simply this. But Dr. Pittman, you've served our nation, and now you're serving the community. So I'm going to help you acquire this property. And that's how we got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to add to that. Talking with the various people in our congregation, that thing is, Dr. Pittman, you know, we need more affordable residential properties in the cities. Affordable residential properties in the city. This is, you know, we're tired of having to go to Panama City or move other places to find something affordable. And so my family and I, we said, okay, well, what we do then, let's just make sure that our property accomplish that. So to be zoned short-term and long-term, run. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. You, Mr. Attorney, had a chance to look up.
I'm having a hard time figuring out what this is. It looks like at the top, it's an appraisal from an insurance company for a particular property, the property I think that he's taught. And then underneath it is something from the city of Wheeler Hitchcock. And that's where it says store, office, residential. But I don't think that has anything to do with this particular property because it says city of Wheeler Hitchcock. So I don't think this really. Look at it.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we, table this for our next meeting to Mr. Pittman? If you can get all your paperwork information to our city manager and he can turn it over to our attorney and we can, have this on our agenda for our next meeting. But, you just gave it to us right now and we, gotta do our research.
The one that says bad, it's in Wheeler Hitchcock, it's not here.
Yeah, we'll bring the clear you got, Mr. Pittman, at City Hall.
Okay, the board, okay, tabling that, we'll move on that. Okay, next item is, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, Mayor, one thing on the agenda today, and that involves ordinance 626, which is, if you remember, that ordinance dealing with sober living homes and recovery residents.
Yes, sir.
And
Okay,
today would be, its second reading and adoption, if that's the way the board would like to go.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for ordinance 626, which is second reading and adoption on sober living homes and recovery residence. I entertain a motion for that. Commissioner Hoffman made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lowry. Any discussion from the board? Anybody in the public? Come right up.
Yeah, Doug Kelly, how are you? Have they got in contact with y'all?
Not to my knowledge, Jim.
I received an email from an attorney supposedly representing Overlook, asking me to contact him. I've since that time, since that original email, I've sent him 2 emails asking to set a time for us to talk. I've left 2 phone messages with him, and he has not gotten back to me. So I'd love to talk to him and see what their plans are, but I have not yet to talk to him.
So this is the final reading of your ordinance.
Correct.
It's a done deal.
Yeah, will a copy of it be available?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Christy McElroy, Port St. Joe. Just a quick question. I just was looking. Is this a long-term, what are the stay for this sober?
You think, is there a sunset on this ordinance?
No, what I mean is when you check in, how long are you a client? Have you thought about putting any guidelines around that? Because hopefully what they're really doing is they are helping someone and creating a critical pathway for them to go back into society. So I guess that's one question. The other question is, when you're dealing with people that have the disease of alcoholism and drug abuse, a lot of times they end up in the hospital and in the emergency room. So I'm wondering, are these people going to have insurance? Because I don't believe, and I've said this before, and I said it during the homeless shelter thing back in 2012, that an institution should not outsource their problems to the rest of society and expect those taxpayers to be responsible for those bills. So if you are attracting people from other states, then we are basically in the state of Florida and in our community taking on their healthcare problems if they are not insured or the company itself does not have a way of taking care of those people. So I'd say that it's not quite beefed up enough. And there should be certain expectations, whoever comes in. And that is, don't outsource your problems to me or anybody else sitting in this room. So you may want to go back and take a better look at that.
We can always amend it.
Okay, anybody else from the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0.
Ordinance number 626, an ordinance of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, regulating sober living homes, addiction recovery residences, and group homes, providing definitions, requiring business licensing and registration, establishing locations, spacing, and operational and safety requirements, providing for compliance with state and federal law, providing for enforcement, severability, and effective date.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, Clint. So she brings up a couple good points on with this passing. I mean, we have the ability now to go in and add on to this and do amendments.
So we can amend it in any way that we're legally able to do so. It's just, we're just very limited as what we can do. This is basically just saying that they have to follow all federal, state, and all laws. there's certain parameters of what they gotta do in terms of where it can be located. You can't be within 1,000 feet of a school or a church, stuff like that. Other than that, it's been the regulation of these types of things has been pretty much away from the cities.
And they've never actually applied for
No,
this program.
that's why I was excited to talk to the lawyer.
Right.
I wanted to find out what they were planning
Yeah.
on doing.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if someone took the time to establish a church in one of the very close homes is currently there prior to an application, or what we know, no one, or we have one lady come and actually support the idea of this. But other than that, is the only one I've heard from it. It'd be real nice if we had a way to say, well, you're eligible because they actually established this church in this home. You can do it with that, Lord. Anyway, thank you.
All righty, move right along to city engineer, Mr. Baxley.
Good afternoon. Short update today. First item, city government complex. We're continuing with design. We're approximately 50% complete now from 30% with the last meeting. Moving towards the 60% milestone where we'll be submitting for permits. So within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we expect to be at that 60% where we'll start sending them for permits at that point. Downtown utilities phase 2, we have made some progress. I was able to get the revised pay applications 12 and 13 over to John. We'll be meeting together this week to go through those to make sure that the money's correct, and we should be able to close that job out. We have one outstanding item. That's the board profiles to be added to the as-built. And I did get confirmation from the contractor. We would have that by the end of the week. So hopefully by next week, we close this job out finally. Downtown alley drainage improvement, we're in design on that. I've actually got some guys performing a walkthrough right now after the rainfall to see if we can find any real problem areas that we're working through that. Avenue A stormwater is the last item. We spoke about that in the previous meeting. We're approximately 75% complete with the plans. It's a small plan set, but we spoke about needing a relocated easement for that most northern drainage pipe because it was running through some existing sheds, and I spoke to Eric about that, and I know you guys are working on that. As soon as we can secure where that drainage easement is, we can wrap that plan set up. That's all I have on the list.
Any questions, gentlemen?
I mean, I guess, while we're on city engineer, maybe Jim, you might, Josh, you probably can't answer this, but what's the progress as far as 98, Highway 98? I've been asked a lot about it.
They're in the process right now of doing the, pulling out the pipe, that need to be pulled out on Highway 98. The plan is within the next 2 weeks, correct from Mr. Grantland, within the next 2 weeks, weather permitting, we want to get that project completed. They're going to be mighty close next week into the Christmas parade in time, but it shouldn't interfere. We'll be able to slide this stuff out of the way. But the plan is to get out of that area within the next 2 weeks, come back and patch it and be done with that area. Then what you want to see is then you're going to fall back to the rehab of the pipes itself. And they're going to have to go back on 6th, 7th, and 8th Street. If you've seen the flags that are there, those are old pipes too. So we're going to be hitting into the neighborhoods coming up. I haven't seen that schedule yet, but that'll be the next step for those guys moving to the neighborhood.
And then they'll come back and repay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What'll happen on 98 is they'll come in and do the patchwork for you. But then in the spring, we want to do that first because DOT has a big project coming. DOT is going to come and pave Highway 98, and they're going to replace those stormwater laterals that are cutting across there on 98. So we're going to see a lot of work done on 98.
Yeah, that's just for the public information. I've had a lot of questions about it. Thank you.
And Jim, while you're on that, now you're talking about they will complete the side that they're working on presently. But then they're going to go to the opposite side of Monument
In the neighborhoods.
tear that up.
I don't think I think that's gonna be rehabbed.
Within the next 3 weeks, they'll be completely off of Highway 90.
Okay, that's good.
Completely off of that back end of residential.
It's like
resident.
Let's clear that up.
Yes.
Anybody else? Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. All righty, old business, Jim.
Yes, sir. First thing we have is the city projects. I'm looking at page 35 and 36. We did go up to the spray fields last week, and the work that Mr. Grant and the shop put into place out there, Mr. Joe Harris, we got it turned on and it was working properly over there, so we are able to use that expanded spray field area. So we went out there and turned that on last week, so that is working today. So that project is complete. Williams Avenue parking lot, that is coming up for bid. That closes on the 19th of this month. So we should have something to you the 1st of January to consider on there for putting that parking lot in operation. And any other questions?
Okay, still on the old business then?
Yes, sir. The next item is the light pole receptor. Commissioner Langston's working on that for you.
Well, I talked with, you people, and I think I'm gonna attend the minister's allowance, maybe December the 8th, to, talk more about the several with the church, the ministers of over there, so, probably after Christmas break, I have a good idea. So let's keep it on old business and nothing.
Oh, can I just make a comment since you are gonna go to them, and hear their ideas? I was thinking about, what the request was, which is to provide electricity to 7, 8 churches, for some of their functions. And I got thinking about folks there's probably quite a few folks that live around these churches that struggle every month to pay their power. And it just doesn't feel right to me for the city to provide power to a church when there's possibly people all around them that struggle every month to pay their utility bill, their power bill. They possibly taking food off the table on a monthly basis to pay their power bills. And so, I just, I don't feel real good about doing that when we know that there's others that are struggling. So that's all I'm gonna say about it.
And I know that there's too, Mr. Mayor, that churches in the community, in our neighborhood, if people are hurting to pay their power bill, they have funds, especially minister allowance and places like that have funds to, help those people out. So,
Very good.
you're right about people struggling, I struggle, So, but I still think it's a good idea to, and then, they can lock it up, they won't use it all the time, they lock it up, they probably won't have but a couple of functions out the year, so.
I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth.
I understand.
Next item.
All right. The next item is the employee bonus. Commissioner Hoffman is working on for us. Mr. Grantham did sell the surplus materials. We got roughly $36,000 from that, on that sale on there. So Mr. LaCour kind of runs the numbers for you to see what that would put for you. Basically, based on the $36,000, you could potentially do 400 for full-time and 200 for part-time or some kind of combination. That would get you roughly in the $36,000 category. Looking if you did somewhere at the 500 and 250 we were talking about before, that's gonna put you somewhere in the mid-40s, probably 46, 48. If you did higher than that, another 250, you're looking in the mid-50s. So that's kind of some different options for you to consider. Okay.
Well, initially, I was being told that we may have as much as $100,000, not by John. I think it was an employee that had high hopes. And I assured that employee that I would bring those figures to the city and asked that we use that 100,000 for a better Christmas bonus. Now it turns out we have far less. So I'm not gonna ask the city to find additional funding. I mean, every time we meet, we're having to find additional funding. But I would ask that we take the 36,000 that John was able to get out of the surplus of brass sales and other items that we've sold, and disperse or use that money for the Christmas bonus. And Mike can run the numbers on exactly what we end up with. I'm sure it's gonna be somewhere around the 400 and 200, and I'm fine with that. Hopefully next year, we can either go ahead and put it in our budget. I wish I would have brought that up or thought about it when we were doing the budget, and went ahead and put a line item in there for a bonus. I think our employees definitely deserve a bonus this year. They've worked hard. They've saved the city of Port St. Joe in excess of $1 million, well over $1 million, just on the spray fill project alone. We have employees that are willing to do particular jobs that we normally would sub out. And when we sub them out, we pay the full amount, and they stepped up. I think we paid them $1 extra an hour if they did it. But I think a Christmas bonus to all of the city employees would be greatly appreciated. I'll make that as a motion if I can at this time.
Okay, sure. Motion to,
Take the 36,000 and disperse it as evenly as possible around the 400 for full-time employees and a $200 bonus for our part-time employees.
okay, that's excluding the city commission.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, everybody, hear the motion, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Discussion from the board. Anybody? Anybody from the public? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All right, Merry Christmas. Any other old business?
No, sir.
All right, new business.
First item is a petition to place speed breakers. Ms. Linda Pinchot is here today. I believe she'd like to talk to the board about it.
Okay, anybody here from 8th Street?
Yeah.
Come up, state your name and sign in, please, Ms. Linda. Somebody, you sign in. You got it, okay, good.
Keep all the traffic from cutting through 8th Street to get to wherever they're going. But a friend of mine that lives on 7th Street said that the speed tables there have made a difference, but the ones on 8th Street, if it's approved, should be wider and taller to be more efficient.
Yeah, and I think we all see the need for it, and we see this, but I would like Jim to reiterate what he talked about before with our projects that are going on 98 and what we're gonna have to do on 8th Street.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. If you notice all the markers that have been put on our streets, 6th, 7th, and 8th Street the last couple of weeks on there, they're getting ready to do all that rehab work. So we gotta keep that in mind. If the board does approve to put some down, we need to work on the timing to figure out which areas are gonna be pulled out and where those speed locations are going. One thing I would suggest too is if you talk to the neighbors and found out exactly who would want it in front of their house.
Okay.
That's the key thing on there, wherever the placement is. But like I said, we can do it if the board approves it. We just need to figure out the timing when we get the sewer rehab.
So that's the sewer that they're doing, the
Yes, ma'am.
rehab.
Yep, see how they went through the middle of the road on Highway 98. We got sections of some of the older neighborhoods in town. We'll have to do the same thing.
Okay.
We're gonna try to line as much as we can. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna-
I believe
What's that?
Oh, you're not that.
Hey, so
I think we'd like to get those roads fixed and infrastructure, get them ready to repave before we spend money on speed cable. But I think, we all think it needs.
And those are replacement roads, by the way.
That's what I thought. I thought most everything, because they're all marked, that means they're gonna go right through the middle of the roads on there. So we need to find out the time and all that. That way, if the board does approve it, to know when. But if we could know exactly where to place it, which neighbors would like it to be in front of their house on there, that would help the board out tremendously.
Will they repave 8th after that?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Autumn Carpenter, and I live on 8th Street also. So some things to consider, and we've talked to neighbors about this, is people who signed the petition, it's between 98 and Long and Woodward. So if you could consider putting 2 speed tables per block, might help it even more, because people are just gonna speed up and slow down and speed back up again between blocks. So
Some sort of speed, something to slow folks down.
right.
And that, whether it be a speed table or some other function that folks couldn't fly over.
Because there's 6 kids just on our block.
Because those speed bumps or speed tables cost around $5,000-6,000 a piece. So we'd like to find something to be just as good,
Okay,
but maybe a little cheaper.
all right. And
A little higher.
Yeah.
the other thing was, everybody who signed the petition is definitely in favor of the speed tables, but nobody does really want it right in front of their driveway. Place it in between driveways or something, but yeah, we have some thoughts on that.
Have some volunteers, it would definitely help the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did want to mention that since we all in the neighborhood, they do make noise. We do go over them. Since we're talking about speed, Chief knows, I've got several emails out in the Woodbridge area, at the Y with speeders coming 98 on to Garrison. I know the city's patrolling it, so I'm just I want to make everybody aware in the public, that they're definitely patrolling it, and they're gonna give out warnings and possibly tickets, because it's ongoing. So just a heads up.
Sounds good.
On the, real quick, Chief, on that, picking that up, the way traffic comes off of 98 onto Garrison Avenue down there by the college and whatnot, I know that the county implemented putting in the speed limit sign that's there by the old grocery store right there in White City. And in my personal opinion, it works. Because when you see those blue lights go off and so you instantly hit your brakes. And it slows that traffic down where it goes from 60 to 50 to 55 to 45 to 40. And I've been watching cars as they go through it, and it seems to work. And maybe that's something we can look at coming off of 98 right there.
Well, I mean, I would highly recommend at least getting the digital signs, but the problem is they're $3,000 to $5,000 a piece for the signs like this, that are in the school zone.
Yeah.
But you can get them, those have orange flashing lights in them, you can get them with the blue lights in them. And it's much cheaper than a $50,000 trailer to put there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Jake, do you think the sheriff might let us borrow his whenever he's done with it at some point?
Absolutely, he's let us borrow it before we got the box. We would use it on Garrison to get traffic data.
I mean, you just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Chief knows I'm bothering him every week.
that's exactly right. And I tell y'all, just like I tell people that call, that's our number one complaint is speeding on just about every street in the city. As long as we have streets and as long as we have cars, there's gonna be speed.
That's right.
I mean, if you have 2 officers on patrol in the city and there's now, I think, 86 streets, so we can't be everywhere at once. So, somewhere in there, 86. But that's another thing also is, when we started having the conversation years ago about speed bumps, speed humps, speed tables and all that, city really needs to sit down and do a policy on it. If not, you're gonna have 86 more of these, requesting to have speed humps on their street. And we are gonna be a street hump community.
Yeah.
So everybody, and no offense to everybody thinks people speed on their street, and they probably do speed on their street. But, That's a problem we're gonna start running into is you going next 9th Street, next 10th Street, next 11th Street, and so on. And, next thing you know, you're gonna be riding around the city like this.
But 8th Street comes straight off of 98. 8th and 7th.
So the first, second, third, fourth,
Oh, yeah.
6th, 7th, 8th, 9th.
They live on the street.
Through at least 14th Street. The second block, I have actually stats on the second block, and it's about 14 vehicles a day. Second block, on there. That's it.
Okay.
I've never I don't think I've set it up on the first block, but it's over a 24-hour period, it's not really that many vehicles. I mean, they could have increased, it's been about a year.
Okay,
Appreciate you.
all right, thank you. All right, next item.
The next item is stop signs at Robbins Avenue and Avenue A, Commissioner Lexman.
You know, the same thing's going on in my neighborhood. Speeding. So I was thinking about the stop sign that we put on 8, it really slowed everything down. So not Robbins, Jim, I wanted to, North Park Avenue. Not only because of the speeding, but also the right of way when you, coming off, North Park. If you looking left, you won't be able to see anything. You can't even see the traffic. You got to almost pull out in the road to turn. So, well, what I came up with, and I think this is a great remedy, put some stop signs up. So I want to put, a 3-way up, on North Park, and I want to let people in my community know I'm not finished. Until you start slowing down, and looking out for our community and the people that's walking down these sidewalks, riding on these e-bikes, riding on regular bikes, until you slow down, we're gonna continue to do what we can to deter you from coming through there. So, if the commissioners, I'd like for you to approve me putting a couple of stop signs, more stop signs up on North Park. If you would like to wait a little bit so you can ride by and see what I'm talking about. I completely understand, but I think it'll be a good move for us to do.
And this one today, there was another one on 8, though.
Yeah, but it's a long one, long street.
Oh, it's wrong street.
I told Bill Rollins I meant North Park.
It's
Oh,
the
and
next
that's,
block.
but that's on 8.
That's on
Yeah, on 8.
Oh, I think I'm ready to vote on it. Anybody else? Somebody entertain a motion to
I'm
allow
fine
that.
with it, but I would just ask that before we paint the strike, put up that stop sign, touch base with the homeowners at that intersection, and make sure that they have an issue with coming out of their driveway like.
I'll get with him.
There's no driveway
I'll definitely get with a couple of neighbors to the street and, before we move forward with it, I'll get in touch with them.
Was saying that
Pending their,
anything they're approved, put that out, that way we don't have to keep
bring it back.
kicking the can down the road.
Good with that. I'll entertain that motion.
So move.
Okay, Commissioner Langston made the motion, there's a second.
Sorry.
Second by Commissioner Carey. Any more discussion from the board?
Just real quick, I'm not a proponent of more stop signs, but I hear your frustration, and I'm dealing with it. So,
Yeah, we'll slow them down, those major.
While we're on it, there's one thing I've also noticed downtown now, with so much traffic that we have downtown now. A lot of people are starting to access using the alleys.
Let's vote on this motion real quick and run it.
Perfect.
Okay, all right, any more from the board? Anybody from the public? Okay, come on. On the stop sign, specifically on Park Avenue and Avenue A. Is that what you want to talk about?
Actually, Robert Branch, I'm gonna address you, Mr. Mayor. One of your commissioners just brought up that y'all need to address the neighbors before you put up a stop sign in front of their house. That's what did I hear that correctly?
You did.
y'all just voted for 2 4-way stops, one on 10th Street and Garrison, one on 16th Street and Garrison.
Well, that was a while back. Yeah,
Yeah, a while back, 2 months ago.
that's correct.
Did y'all give the neighbors then?
Not to my knowledge.
So what has changed 2 months
I
today?
think there were intersections, but I don't know what
I know.
changed, but we're on this.
I know you're on stop signs in the city
We're on
of
this-
St. Joe.
On Avenue A and.
But so the answer is no. You didn't worry about the neighbors there, but you're gonna worry about the neighbors today. But y'all, is that
That's
what
not what we're saying at all.
I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we will. Anybody else in the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. Next item, Jim.
Yes, sir. Friday day, you have a change order number 1 from SCE, City Streets Resurfacing CBI on pages 41 and 42. And I believe Mr. Lance Watson's here too, if you have any.
Okay, we've got a change, well, it says a change order, but I think the question, and I've talked to Jim about this, and this has come up before. And my question to him was, with the, contract we had with SCE for CEI services, was that contract signed and completed?
That contract was signed and it was paid in full, yes, sir. Because 107, the initial contract was 117,1013. How we got here today was Roberts and Roberts, the contractor. They had actually been given a 60-day extension on it for time on. They didn't want any more money, but we gave them a time only. SCE, who's your inspector on there, felt that because of those days on there, they gave us a change order for $58,506 for it.
Okay, discussion on the board.
I've got some questions. Lance, you want?
Yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely, we're gonna give them a chance.
Yeah, I already signed in too.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Lance Watson, SCE.
I'll let you get it first.
Oh, just real brief, in case y'all have any other questions after. Now, there was the 60-day extension, and then there was also an additional 45-day change order. So the contractor was over 105 days. And what we always keep, and we have to, you know, under the RFQ, we have to have a inspector dedicated to this project, as well as office staff and everybody else. But so 105-day extension. And we requested a change order for 60 of those days and not the additional 45 days. So 45 or 60 of 105 days overage for our CEI services.
So, based on what I understand from talking to Jim, we extended their time, and you guys had to provide additional staff on the out there on the project. Did you have additional man hours?
Yes, so we have throughout a CEI project, we have as a condition of the RFQ, when we submit, we have a inspector dedicated to that project, not dedicated to another project. And this is the project that's paying for the the overhead, the truck, the inspector, the salary, payroll taxes, everything to do with that inspector, office staff, project manager, project administrator, everything to do with that project. But the office staff and all that, they're partially assigned to this job. They don't have a full week, but the inspector is only allotted this project. He is fully committed to the city, and we owe it in the city to have the inspector that's fully committed to the city. So, we don't expect for the city to call and say, hey, where's your inspector out there? They're paving on 10th Street. Oh, I'm sorry, he's on another job for 2 weeks. It just don't work. So we have an inspector fully committed to that project and did so for 105 additional days, and are requesting a change order for 60 of those.
So he was on site for 105 days while Roberts was on.
No, I didn't say on site, dedicated to the project.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was about to ask.
but 60 of the 105 days.
So what is the responsibilities and duties of the inspector when there is no work going on for, let's say, 10 days?
They communicate with the contract. I would say that the inspector themselves probably, I don't know, they might, if no one works for a week, they may still have, I don't know, 15 hours or so. There's still paperwork, there's still
Right.
compliance with the grant documents. There's still all that communication with DOT. And this project was a little different too. There was 9 roads, there wasn't 1 road. And I know John remembers there was a lot of field orders and field changes and, allocations from here going to there. And that's where the reconcile change order at the end came from. But again, that inspector is allocated to this project for the duration of the project.
Why would this change order come at the same time as the one that will be granted the extra 60 days? Because we would have known it's gonna cost this much more money to extend Robert's 60 days. We might not have gave them that change order.
Well, we were day and night trying to figure out, and I know John and Jim remember this, but there were a lot of field orders on this project, and every road had a field order that affected another road, affected utility conflicts, affected the parking areas on 10th Street, affected the extension from 10th Street, there were 100 things going on at once. And we were focused on keeping that in order so that the city didn't go over the grant amount to not be reimbursed for that money from the contractors. So it was a few days after, I mean, it was a little bit after the contractor, but yeah, that's why.
Yeah, personally, I don't disagree with, we did grant the extension. I feel like the number's a little high, and I'd be willing to negotiate something. I'm not sure what the rest of the board would be willing to do, but I do believe you're owed something for our getting extension. So.
Lance, did anybody from the city or Roberts and Roberts communicate with you about the extension or ask you to be there because they've got this extension of time or anything? Or did you just say, well, we know they're working, so we're gonna go out there?
We don't have a choice, and the city don't have a choice. You have to have an inspector on site for any work under a DOT grant. So we have to do that under our contract.
But the contract you signed included all the work for all these roads.
It included for 120 days, yes, sir.
Okay.
But not the stuff that was added using the underruns from the roads that were in the contract.
That was requested by the cities.
The city, yes, sir. And coordinated between the city and us as CI and Dewberry as a designers.
Yeah. So I guess by extending the paver, that contractor costs additional 60 days, it costs the city almost $1,000 a day for your company.
Yeah, it's based on the hourly rates. Now, like you said,
Yeah, I mean, we should have had that information prior to committing and allowing the additional 60 days, because I would have been, and I understand it, for a job you get paid, but I think it would have been fair to the city of Fort St. Joe to have all of that information, not only from the paving side, but from the engineering side. I wish that you would have communicated, hey, I understand that there was an extension of 60 days, just to let you know, it's gonna cost an additional $58,000 for your services. Right. And me being the negotiator that I've been known to be, I would have immediately contacted or had staff contact the paving side and said, you're gonna absorb this fee. We're gonna give you extra time for whatever reason you didn't finish the job when you promised to finish it per contract, but we're gonna be good neighbors and we're gonna give you that extra days, but you gotta pay it all. Well, we started at paying it all, and then we'd have come down with a fair agreement with them, but we had no information of that, is what I'm being told,
Well,
until after the 60 days had been granted.
well, I guess the only couple things I would say to that is, one, it's not, today is not the day that it was, we didn't wait till the day to talk about it. It was talked about prior. And the thought of the city was, let's see where, if we have any underruns in the contract, see if the contractor has any underruns before we, discuss it further. And that's what we did. We didn't wait till, December 2nd to talk about this. It's, that was kind of where we were, with talking to, Jim and John, but, and the other thing being that, in our original contract, it states as 420 days and, over that is additional. And so, and I feel like it's, what's being requested is fair. It's 105 days. Somebody wasn't on the project, sitting in a truck running 105 days, but there wasn't 60 days of that 105, absolutely. But also they were allocated to that project for the duration of the project. And so that's, like Commissioner Lowry said, if there's something that maybe we negotiate something different than what's being presented today, that's fine. And I'm definitely happy to do that.
You're fine with
Well, I don't know. I would just have to lean on the attorney a little bit, lean on the city manager to determine where we stand. And does this, any amount that when we come through this change order, will it be under the paving budget for this project, or will it be over and above that?
Currently, your contractor for the inspection services, we had to pay over $62,000 out of city. We were over budget to begin with when we started. So to answer your question, anything additional, there's no more money left in the grant, we were told, so we'd have to come out of zero. No matter what.
So we've already paid 62,000 out of city funds that weren't in the grant.
Yes.
So this
What we
will
want to
be
do is
over $100,000 for CEI services.
I think there was an additional $30-something thousand that wasn't in the grant for the paving portion extended.
it. Yeah, it was of it. I was gonna say, part of it's payment too.
Yeah, part of it's paving. That's why we did it, because we wanted more money in the paving side on there, why we did it that way.
Gotcha.
And Lance, just a quick question, because you mentioned, over 100 days and charging for 60. Now, or something you said, there was definitely somebody on sale in some of those 60 days. Some of that extension had to do with us having more pavement and whatnot and extending additional roads that we weren't gonna have paved to begin with, correct?
Right, because we were getting rid of some reclaiming and milling rather than reclaiming. And that was approved by the city. That was coordinated by, with us in the city and taken to the design engineer for approval on that.
So we would have had some additional services to pay either way without that 60-day extension, correct?
Yeah.
Am I reading that correctly? If it was over 100 days on site, additional over the contract of 420?
The original was 120, yes, sir.
Okay.
And it ended up right at 225 days. 115.
I make a recommendation, we let them come back and
Hey, you want to negotiate with Jim and John?
negotiate, see what you can do for us.
Okay, absolutely. We appreciate any consideration.
Okay.
Thank you, Lance.
Thank you.
Yes.
The next item we have is in reference to our next meeting scheduled for 12/16. There was discussion at last meeting, to whether, we would be holding this meeting.
What do you have looking down the road for that meeting?
The items that I do have is very little.
Another one public hearing. But I think we moved it to the
January.
We did, yes. We moved that one to January. We do have a planning board meeting that is left on today that we would need to do a continuance on if they got a favorable recommendation to come to you on there. Two items that are coming for a special exception for setbacks on Cabell. And, Ms. Cheryl Pryor's coming for you. That's one we talked about before. She's going before the planning board today, to consider on there for working for, building a new home. So those would be pushed back until your next meeting.
More.
So those few minor things.
Yes, sir, planning board recommendations would have to be pushed back. That's all I have, because what we did was with the one ordinance on there in reference to the de-annexation of 618 and 19, those come before you the first meeting in January.
Yeah.
I've already advertised.
I mean, I'm fine with it. Give staff some time off without a meeting.
Okay.
Won't have to go to agenda or minutes or, so
That's your motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Commissioner Kerrigan. Discussion from the board. Anybody feel like we need to have a meeting to address any issues?
Is this what we have done in the past? I remember we canceled a meeting last year or I think it was the same date span or whatever. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Anybody in the public? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. All right, Mr. Kerrigan, you got something here.
Yeah, I gave that to Jim. I've had, a lot of, we're getting more and more people coming down to the farmer's market, and it's turned into quite an event for Port St. Joe. And the one big complaint that kept coming to me was the situation with bathrooms and stuff. And I met with a company that actually does the mobile bathrooms and stuff, and explained to them how we were working on, we got a grant, to put in permanent bathrooms, but to get us maybe through the next year or so, they put together like a contract just to show a discounted contract of where they could provide those trailers to that event so that you have nice functional bathrooms for people to use when there's that many people in town from down there. So I presented that to Jim, and Jim, if you can share and let them know what the normal cost is and how the contract would go.
Yes, it's actually on page 43 and 44 of your agenda on there. Basically what you're looking at is for the monthly rentals about $1,000 plus the clean, or $1,100 a month is what it would be. Currently you have two portlets that we put down there. We're paying $196 a month for it, which you have under that. We do have a grant coming. We have a $300,000 grant. We're waiting on the grant agreement to come to us. We'll hopefully have that in the next few weeks, but it's going to take time before that's gets.
We're still going to design it as well.
Yes, sir. You're a year out.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at is on this, I guess you got to figure out the foot traffic on there. Is it, do you need it now, or is that something you want to start maybe during the summer month to keep an eye on there? But we do have this option now for a really nice facility that can be used, whether it's for special events or monthly or weekly one there. Something to consider.
It's $200 versus $1,100.
So it's roughly $500 per.
Every 2 weeks.
Right, each time that we have the farmer's market, and then they take the bathroom away.
Yeah.
Is this company? I spoke to a gentleman last year, I believe it
Coastal
was.
Loop.
This guy lives on 20th Street. Is that the same company?
Coastal Loop, yeah.
Yes.
It is the same, because I remember him and his wife had bought one of these and, talked, I think he spoke to us in the past.
Yes.
I think we need it. I hate those
It's $196,
portable toilets.
$196 a month for the two porta potties, but they're there the whole month, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's a difference.
Lot of difference, but.
A lot of different.
Yeah.
What's on the 45 is what they,
I haven't had any complaints about it myself, but
I mean,
it looks nicer.
You don't have three kids.
You don't have what?
Three kids all want to go to the bathroom at the same time.
they got 2 porta potties,
Oh, must pleasure the board. Yeah, but wait, you gotta go, you gotta go. Might wanna make
I
a
mean,
motion.
I'll make a motion that we enter into negotiations for it. I mean, it sets a precedent of Port St. Joe and who we are and, you know, who we're trying to attract here. And when you have an event that has that many people, I just think it's a good idea to have a good functioning, useful bathroom for people to use.
But you won't have one for the rest of the month, though, right?
You can have one porta potty out for the rest of the month.
Wait a minute.
Well, that Allen Crew will have to pay for that.
So this facility is gonna be there for a whole month?
No,
They bring it in the morning and take it out in the afternoon.
on the first and third Saturdays of each month.
Okay,
So
so
it's just there during the farmer's market. We got 2 porta potties that are there for the whole month.
Oh, okay, for Lighthouse.
I know they had talked about buying a new porta potty just for this type of stuff. Maybe we table it to see if they want to put together a quote saying they leave something there for extended period of time, but
And where was this money coming from? 1,100 a month?
we ain't got that far yet.
We haven't gotten that far.
Commissioner Kerrigan with the farmer's market group, be willing to kick in.
I think they may. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Maybe we can table it, see if maybe they want to split it, that kind of
Do
thing.
they pay any rent? Well, that, anything they do down there?
I think they collect the vendors.
That was
what he
said.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're making money on city property, we need they pay.
Sure. You want to take what we're talking about?
Let's take what it's, we'll get to the farmer's market.
Okay, all right, let's do that.
The next item is in reference to an invoice for road repairs. We talked about this a few months ago, and we paid the one invoice off of it, but we had the quotes together. This is the actual formal invoice for the road repairs on Madison and from the county.
Yeah, I understand that you have had a meeting with, Clay Smallwood with the county, and who else was in that meeting?
Mark Coffey.
Okay, we did, list our concerns on, we messed the road up because there's a break somewhere, and in the past, we repaired them. And I still think we need to, talk to the county about us doing the repairs based on their specs, instead of them repairing and sending us an invoice. You know, it's just, we have nobody on site, or any inspectors, we don't know what they're doing, we just get an invoice. And we owe them, but, I think we need to, and because in the past, we've done it all. And obviously that didn't meet their, expectations. And so they decided to do it, and just a lot of money. And each one of these invoices had a mobilization issue, that they would come out and patch a little road, they'd have to mobilize their whole paving outfit to come, and it's, I think it was, how many $1,000s of mobilizations on those invoices?
Most of them average somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000.
And so instead of waiting till they had 3 or 4 to patch, they were doing it per road. I just think you know, there's a way we can get an agreement with the county that, we'll patch our mistakes on their specifications that they turned into you. But that's just conversation for now because we've got an invoice here and, we got that. So anyway,
Jim, what was the discussion? Was there dialogue?
We had a dialogue in reference to the cost on their trying. We realized we need to make those repairs. We're not gonna cut a road unless we absolutely have to anymore, but there's gonna be instances where we're gonna have to. And we know we need to get those repaired, but what we wanna do is try to keep those costs on them.
I'd say, we received a letter from the county about in regards to, yes, it was a response to your letter, maybe to, Jim sent it out to us yesterday, I believe, via email, about a meeting for the 16th of January, I believe it was.
Yes, sir. We did get a request.
From the county to meet
Right.
on certain
right,
issues.
on another issue.
This could be, we're moving forward.
Sure.
We need to
Yeah.
discuss.
I mean, if it's a workshop, I mean, we don't have to list what we're gonna workshop on. So
Yeah.
if we're gonna discuss this, we need to put this on that also.
I'm not necessarily saying this particular invoice, I'm saying future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we did cut the roads.
Yeah, and we don't like to, but.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and what's the total amount again, Jim?
This one's $33,548.
Do we have that in the budget anywhere under what,
We'll have to pull it out of road payment, but yes, sir.
okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Lowry made the motion, there's a second. Second by Commissioner Langston. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody from the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0.
The next item we have is a reference to an interlocal agreement for the recession of ordinance 618 and 619. We referenced that earlier today. These are going to be on the first meeting in January because we didn't have time to get it to this meeting, the 10-day notification requirement. So what this does is quantify this and all that. City attorney.
What I explained to you guys earlier, each one of you individually earlier on the phone, it's just codifying that you are going to go through and rescind ordinance 628.
Okay.
Excuse me, rescind, we are going to adopt 628, which rescinds 618 and 619, sorry.
Right, that's what this interlocal agreement guarantees that we plan to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, entertain a motion for the interlocal agreement.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Lowry made the motion, there's a second. Second by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion from the board? Anybody from the audience? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. All right.
The last time we have under new business, Mr. Grant Rich would like to come talk today. This is about a new subdivision that's going to be built here on Garrison Avenue, Pine View, and reference to water.
Okay.
Like this place, that's all right.
This is Ralph Rich.
Yeah, Ralph.
And we know that for the record.
7 State Road 38. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, I'm here today to ask for permission and ask for approval for the city to serve sewer in Pine View Estates, which is a subdivision about a quarter of a mile down on the right-hand side of Garrison Avenue, looking from this way, and it's 20 lots. It's in the county, but I'm asking for the city to serve it in sewer.
Ralph, you know, we had a long discussion about that last time you were here about the other two lots. And we, you know, we've got a great big service area out there that we spend a lot of money on. We've got all the utilities this subdivision needs running right in front of the subdivision. And so we'd be happy to serve, I mean, basically we're required in our service area to, if we have the utilities, then the developer is required to hook on to our utility.
Yeah.
And so, I don't see a problem with us supplying water, and sewer to the subdivision. I really don't know what, unless you just want to buy water from the county, and.
No, sir, we didn't request it, we talked, I think, a little bit to the city about water and sewer, and
Yeah.
the county told us that that was their service area, and I hear you today say that it's your service area.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a discrepancy like there seems to be for a long time between the city and the county, and I feel kind of like the federal government or the people that have been affected by the federal government. The city and the county has been in a fight, it seems like. I'm not saying it's their fault or yours, but been in a fight for years, and the only people it affects is the citizens. And that shut the federal government down for 45 days, and everybody that shut it down got along fine. The only people that didn't there got hurt are the citizens. And so, if you work it out with the county, we don't care. They just told us that that's a county area. It's not in the city limits, it's in the county, and that it was not in the service agreement that they had with y'all years ago. And so I think what I'd really like to request is you just service sewer. Let us hook up to their deal. If you wind up in a lawsuit, or you win or whatever, then, we'll pay the cost to hook into your line. We're not opposed to hooking into your line. We're told that, hey, this is county property, it's not city. It's not in the city limits. And, there's several things that we could talk about this. And, the city, for some reason, had no problem for the county to run the line a half a mile down here to hook into this that I assume you think's in your service area. And I'm not saying it is written because I have no idea, but y'all served the sewer, the county served it water, and nobody said a word. I mean, we came forward, nobody said one word about,
Well, except me, and I, but
your talk then, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt you, was not about, not serving water and sewer. It was about if you'll annex in, we'll do this, and that was what you were opposed to, is that it didn't annex. But I don't think you were opposed that they serve water and you serve sewer. You said you annex and then we'll serve water and sewer.
I don't think that was part of the vote at all, and I guess somebody assumed that since we didn't want them, that we voted to allow that to go on, that you assume that you could hook on county water, which that never was part of the conversation. So I think it was. But the bottom line is, we have sent a letter to the county, based on this whole situation. And we hope that we talk to the county and get them to understand about our service area, which we're bound through bond agreements and a lot of other stuff to protect our service area, which protects our citizens. And so that's the big rub. All I'm doing is representing the city best interest, and we cannot, I think the other thing was just a isolated deal that got voted on, and is what it is. But I would like, why don't you say we'll hook on city water and sewer and let the county deal with if they want to sue somebody? I mean, that'd be the easiest thing right there, because you're in our service area. You guys just say, okay, we're there. We want to hook up and go. And we've never denied a developer yet in our service area for water and sewer. No. And of course,
but the bottom, Mr. Mayor, is that you say it's in your service area, and and I have went and seen the county, and they swear it's in their service area. They said they did an interlocal agreement with y'all years and years ago, and that interlocal agreement did not include this parcel of property. That's what they're telling us. And so, we just don't want to be like the rest of the citizens in the middle of a fight between y'all. I mean,
I agree,
But
but
I've done, I've got a list here of 20-something subdivisions I've done until the last three, never had a problem with the city or the county.
that's correct.
And all of it's, based on, the two entities not getting along, and then you have capacity, you have John pointed out to us, that he's got a manhole sitting right in front of that 20, wouldn't hurt him at all. And so
And the
it
water
would be
line,
good for I understand.
how can we serve sewer in the county service area?
Because you serve it at Cape San Blas and you serve it at Jones Homestead, and the county has the city and you have the sewer.
So all those are county service areas?
I don't know. I'm just saying, there's your service area, I assume, for sewer and theirs for water.
Well,
I guess, just go to it.
yeah, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, my deal is, how can we deny service if we have it there? I've heard mention of them possibly having to go get septic. I don't see how the state would allow them to put septic tanks, there and there's a line, a sewer line right there.
Well, it could, it's not law, it's state law.
So,
No, yeah, it's a state law that I can't put a septic tank, but you won't give me sewer.
yeah,
We never have said sewer. The whole idea is you're here when city water and sewer is available to you and you don't want to use part of our.
I don't mind using yours, Rex. I can't use it when, the county's telling me it's their service area. Y'all can work that service area out, hopefully in that next meeting, but in the meantime, people pay money, people have, everybody has their jobs they do. This is what I do for a living. So, there's no reason not to service us sewer. And, there's another thing too. Y'all, I wasn't here, but I read the minutes. I have them right here. You were willing to go to Bay County and serve 500 people with sewer and pay an engineering firm from out of county to go do a study on it to serve 500 units in Bay County. Do you have the water there too?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not even in the county. I'm a citizen and live right here.
You think we'd make any money selling, tap fees and water and sewer to the development? That's the
To
whole
be real
idea.
honest with you, at your tap fees, you should make money.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway,
I hope you do.
yeah, I know what you're saying, but, and frankly, I don't think that we had a request to provide sewer to this subdivision.
We haven't received the application.
Huh?
We haven't received the application.
We haven't received an application.
If you received a request, you haven't received an application for two reasons, because we were told that we needed to come before the board and ask. And we also, over 2 months ago, sent your city consultant, the one that we're required to use to model the system. Usually takes him a week or so. He's had it 2 months, and for the most part, that never even responded to us. And all of a sudden, about 2 weeks ago, John called him and he responded. And so we're waiting on the city's consultant, the one that does your grinders,
Uh-huh.
that we get paid $5,000 for instead of ones that are out there at $1,500. But anyway, we're sitting here waiting on them, and we will turn an application in, and we were told to approach the board, and so we got on the agenda to approach the board.
We appreciate that.
And I have no problem about the water either way. We're not in the middle of that fight. We're just asking you to give us sewer. I'm assuming y'all are gonna have a meeting in a couple of weeks. You're either gonna agree that it's theirs, or they're gonna agree it's yours, or you're gonna fight. And at that point, if you win, we'll come back and hook it into yours. We're saying it here in a public meeting, at no cost to you, we'll hook into the city. But in the meantime, we have water and we don't have sewer. And are happy to hook into the city once y'all work it out with the county. And if you remember, I think on the last one, we didn't have a problem doing that either, but the county said, all right, if you do that, we're gonna sue you for annexing and.
Yeah.
Haven't voted on this before?
Yes, first time.
It kind of. The first subdivision next door had 40 or 50 acres. And this is part of that 40 or 50 acres, and you voted to serve 100 lots in that subdivision. We came back later and said we only need 80. you approved that too. Now we're not asking for any more than we asked for that you've already approved, 6 months ago. I mean, it'd be the same number. And we talked to John about it. John says he has capacity, and he says that he's got a lift station there, and that 20 lots wouldn't affect him at all. I mean, in a negative way.
See, the only problem that I have with this matter is that we've already voted to this. I mean, why is it coming back before us? Because we already passed it when we voted for it, and,
Had two different subdivisions.
it's in the same area.
Just right next to it.
Yeah. One's
But
on
no,
one
it's-
side of the
it's-
health department, the other one's on the other side.
And Commissioner, to ask you a question, yes, the same piece of property, the same piece that we bought was 40-something acres. It wraps around the health department and comes out. The original 100 that we asked for did not include that. When we went down to 80, that part was uplands. So part of it, a little bit of wetlands on it too, but we asking now, can we just move that 20 that you already approved over to that piece?
I got a question for the attorney. And I think you're spot on. You're caught right in the middle of an ugly fight. And as much as I do not want to give in to the county on their water, because I think the county has plans to service as much of our service area as they can get away with. That's why they ran the line down here. And I'm also hearing that they went as far as offering county water to a potential new builder on a lot that's dead in the city limits. And they would like to propose to that future home builder, county water. And I got a big problem with that. But with all that said, I don't like that a developer or owner, it could be one lot, one house, and I still would not feel comfortable with bringing that one person in this fight, because I believe the city will definitely move forward with suing the county over. We have to, because every customer we lose costs the other customers more money. Because if we lose 1,000 current customers, well, the other 1,000 or however many we have, we're gonna have to go up on their water. It's not fair to them. But my question to the city attorney, does it, in your opinion, put us in a bad spot
By giving him.
by giving them the sewer right down here, even though we're moving forward, or if we choose to move forward with the lawsuit?
Well, the county's already ran the line, so the line is already there. I don't know how long it's going to be before they actually hook up the water. And it seems like it's quite a ways down the road, as they're just starting to develop it. So it does appear that there'll be, if we were gonna have our dispute with the county and everything, I think it probably could be worked out one way or the other by then. But it is, we have a water line that runs right down Garrison Avenue. It's in our service area.
And if you're willing to, probably just a matter of months. I mean, I know you'll either settle it with them one way or the other, whether you settle it with them in court or you settle it with them in a meeting, there again, if you prevail in a meeting or whatever, well, if you prevail in the meeting, we won't be ready anyway. But if you prevail in court, then you have our word here in this meeting, we'll spend the $10,000 to run over to you.
What type of impact would it have on the development of the property if we just did nothing until we wait and hopefully I'd love to resolve it in a meeting, in January, when we have a workshop? What is the drawback, if any, to the development of this?
I don't think it's catastrophic.
Okay.
To be honest, I'd love for you to approve our sewer today, but I can tell you that it won't matter about me hooking up that water line between now and then. So in other words, I'll I can tell you that I won't hook up the water line between now and the time y'all need it, but I just feel like we've given you the sewer. And then if y'all prevail in the meeting, you know, then we don't have a problem. If you don't, you know, at least I still have my sewer and you'll eventually have water if you win.
Right, because the county has no ability to do sewer anyway,
Yeah.
so.
But if you ask me not to run the water line between now and January and you have your meeting, I will not run the water line.
Yeah, I think that would help both sides, you know? Yeah.
Everybody else?
What day is that meeting set for?
16.
What is it?
13th, 11 o'clock.
Say again.
January 13th, I believe, at 11 a.m.
16?
Start
13? I'm fine to move on to allow them to move forward, sewer.
Assuming we don't do the water line between now and your January 6th meeting.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna,
Yeah, we're gonna.
they can't develop anything without sewer.
Right.
I just want to say this, it's just, I just know that, you know, we voted for 100 homes, and I just can't, I just don't understand. They had 80 on one side and they're adding 20 more, right? That's the same thing. To me, that's the exact same thing, and we've already voted for it, so I don't understand why we have to keep this, hand down the road.
It's not about the sewer though, it's about the county
Infringing on our water service.
encroaching on our service area.
At that meeting,
And, Mr. Rich could buy water from the city and we got city and water and sewer right there. So why did he get it from us? Why does he want to buy it from the county?
Because the county, I can answer
I know
that.
what you said.
I heard because we went to the county and said, hey, the city says it's their service area, and they said, here's their local agreements, it's not in their service area, it's 100% in ours, and we'll fight for it too. And, you know, they can't go in there 3 years ago and just say, we're gonna take this from you. You know, we had an interlocal agreement, I'm telling you what they're saying, I'm not taking their side, I'm just telling you what they said. And so we'll serve you water, and they ran a water line to us, and now we're in a mess.
Yeah, we all are.
By the way, that meeting's on January 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to allow, them to run, sewer, or us to provide sewer to, Pineview Estates on Garrison Avenue for those 20 lots. I believe it's under, who's the developer? Is it
68 ventures.
For 68 ventures?
As long as
They're not running water?
they don't hook up the water till afterwards.
Meeting?
After our meeting.
Well, you can say afterwards, you mean infinity, so you almost need to set a time limit, if after our meeting, immediately after it, or 3 days after it, or what, a week after? We need probably a definite, do you agree with that?
Yes.
And the motion needs to
Let's
have
say-
something.
Let's say February 1st.
Okay, so,
That makes sense.
did you,
Gives you 2 weeks to.
okay, we all understand that motion?
City. So my motion is to allow them, for us, the city, to provide sewer to Pineview Estates, which is 68 ventures, for the 20 lots. Without them hooking up with running water until February 1st, after our meeting.
It's the 14th. of January.
Yeah, after January 14th. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we're still voting to grant them sewer.
Yes.
And even
They've got it, they're gonna have sewer anyway.
If we can't come to agreement on the 14th, and if we have to go further,
and then they get to hook up the water on the 1st of February, so we're saying.
We do under the motion, but we won't hook it up on the first. I mean, we give you a couple of weeks to try to settle it.
Yeah.
And only thing we're really asking you to do today is let him sign our application.
For sewer.
For sewer.
I mean, we're gonna have to provide them sewer anyway.
Yeah, because if not, the developer then would have to decide, well, let's sue the city.
Yeah.
Well, then we can't get sewer anywhere else. They have to get sewer. Not that I'm saying you would do that, but I probably would if I was in your spot.
I just want to say this, since we see the kind of figure around what I want to do, but there's something that I voted on, and regardless of what they changed or unless it was more density on that property, I just say that, the only thing I said that we I voted for. So I know exactly what you mean, Mr. Mayor, about that, and I think about it too. Because I know that I represent the city and that's money for us, so I definitely understand that.
so you have my understanding of
Yeah, I understand the motion of the way, if we can either come to an agreement with the county, or which we're not. So, that'll give us time, but the agreement's not reached, to do something
That's correct.
in between the 14th. So that's
Still impact,
And then in February or March or whatever, if we hook up to their water and to your sewer, and then y'all get an agreement 6 months later, then we'll come hook up to your water.
there is a motion of Commissioner Lowry, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Terry. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody from the public? Come right up, please, ma'am.
I go back to this agreement. This is between the county and DEP, and it clearly states that the county wants the city's sewer. And that's why they applied for $28 million for a resilience grant.
Address this one.
Well, I'm gonna give a copy of this to Mr. Rich. And right here, it says, major elements of the project include planning, design, permitting, and construction of an advanced wastewater treatment plant, which will replace the existing facility in Port St. Joe. You can't say that the county, this was 2022. Michael Hammond said at the last meeting, they've been thinking about this since 2019. This agreement with all the extensions runs through 2027. And Michael Hammond said at the last meeting, he doesn't care if y'all go along with the plan or not, because they have $28 million and they're going to build a plant. So my whole thing is this agreement makes it sound as though the city of Port St. Joe, because they talk about a memorandum of understanding between y'all, which, Mayor, we've talked about that. There is no memorandum. So I go back to this. We talk about money, but it costs a lot of money to spend on attorneys. And Lord have mercy, don't I know that? And so I would like you're somebody in this town, Mr. Rich, and you need to go and talk to the county about this.
I don't need sewer in the county.
I know, but you have to understand, we're in business too.
All righty, anybody else from the public? Okay. All in favor of aye, and I'm gonna vote aye based on the way the, motion was worded this time. So most passed by. Moving right along. Let's see. Well, Jim, anything else under new business?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Public Works, Mr. Grantman had to leave for
Working on the project.
appointment at the project, so anybody got any updates on anything we need to hear about from Public Works? Okay. Surface water,
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just letting you know, the water plant has passed the quarterly and the annual state disinfectant byproduct sampling, for our water system, and for 2025, we've had no violations of any EPA water quality standard. That will be reflected on our, consumer confidence report.
excellent. We appreciate the work you guys do, and, we do produce quality water on a daily basis. Yep. Anything else, Larry?
No, sir.
Okay, questions for Larry?
First, let me say thank you for running a clean, water plant. And thank your employees. And it seems like, several times throughout the year, you advise the staff, you advise the commissioner, and therefore you advise the residents of the city of Fort St. Joe and those outside the city that are hooked up to our city water currently. So that's big. What I'm going to ask you to do from now on is when you give the data, because it's important to tell people, is your water good and safe or not? So I would like you from now on, when you bring the data, good or bad, and talk about our compliance level and our testing for our safe water, and we get that gold star on our little homework, I want you to present the information on the county water system, because that's public record, and I want to know what their water comes out as far as after the testing is. That's shared at every meeting that you talk about the city. I don't want you to fluff the numbers. I just want the numbers right off of DEP or whoever is posted, because I keep hearing, one county employee badmouth our water. He won't drink water. It's terrible water, but yet all our true data and the facts, and like I'll say again, the truth seems to always rise to the top. So let's do a comparison of our water and our water sample results to the counties. And I'm gonna ask that you have that available at the next meetings where it's, or you can go back in time and just present it, because I keep hearing their water's terrible. I don't know. I'm not gonna make that comment unless I have the proof of it.
Well, like us, they have to come out with a consumer confidence report, and we can do a comparison on this.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Any other questions for Larry? All right, wastewater, Mr. Joe.
Thank you, Mayor. Today on the agenda, I have a request to purchase a flex wing rotary cutter. This is an attachment for our tractor that we maintain the spray field with. It is a Sourcewell contract price, and it is also within our budget for this year. The price is $26,739.84.
The bat wing that you guys have been using, will it be able to maintain its existence for a little longer, and we'll have two, or we'll have backup, or are you trading it in?
This one will be a backup. That goes on the tractor. The other one is.
So it is somewhat functional now.
Yes, sir. We maintained it, and it's on one of its last legs. It's 15 years old.
That's done a lot of work. So,
Yes, it has.
but always good, you might fire parts off of it or something.
Yes, sir.
You need it. Okay, entertain a motion for the, flex wing rotary cutter for wastewater. So Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion, there's a second. Second by Commissioner Langston. Any further discussion from the board? Anybody in the public? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. Good luck. Everything else going,
Yes, sir.
all the improvements and things coming along?
Yes, sir.
Very good, thank you. Okay, Finance Director, Mr. Mike.
Mayor, no update or change on the FEMA, still waiting on the reimbursement, still in the same process with FEMA. We discussed most of the grants so far. We are waiting to close out on that downtown water line reimbursement. So as soon as John and engineering can finalize that last invoice, we'll be able to close that and get our final reimbursement on the downtown water.
All right, any questions for Mike? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Code enforcement?
We are working this week, Mayor, to interview several potentials to fill the full-time position that we're looking for code enforcement. So we'll be working on that this week.
How many applications do you have?
The last couple of weeks, I think. I think
Nine?
you're interviewing how many this week? 7?
Next Monday.
Next Monday, yes.
7.
Good. All right, chief?
I don't have anything unless you guys have questions for me. Well, I guess one thing there is, I'm sure most of you have had calls or either seen the disabled bear, the crippled bear. It's actually over by Commissioner Langston's house. He was on Bridgeport Lane this morning.
Yeah.
He and FWC went in there and set up a trap right before the meeting on Bridgeport Lane. They've had the trap over on North Bay trying to catch it. It's probably been caught before, so it's gonna be tough to catch it.
Yeah.
But they're doing everything they can do to catch it.
FWC been, okay.
Yeah. The city has a piece of property on Bridgeport Lane where there's where the water collects a pond. And, he set it there because his main trail's there on that piece of property, so. Hopefully we can get him out of the way.
Hopefully.
One of about 1,000 that's all over the city.
Sure. All right, chief, anything else?
No, sir, that's all I've got.
Anybody for the chief? All right, Ms. Pierce?
No major changes on pages 46 or 47 since our last meeting. Christmas parade is coming along. We've had a few ads, a few drops, so the next week will be up and down. Do not have an accurate count number yet. And on pages 48 through 50, you see the bids we received or quotes for the employee appreciation luncheon. Just need some direction on what you'd like us to do there.
Well, who's the music?
We used, Mission Barbecue last year, but Commissioner Hoffman, I believe, asked us to check local first to see what we could receive from 3 local vendors.
Yeah.
Let's say what, I see Curtis Beard is the bidder, but I don't see what it don't have what it serves.
No, we had sent out what we were asking for, same as we had last year.
Yeah.
He's done it, it's always been good. Not in local business, but he lives locally.
Oh, yeah.
He's dead. I thought, yeah.
He lives here often.
Well, we should have probably just told you guys a little bit. And then we would have do it.
I said y'all handle it.
Yeah. That's all right. Didn't blow your bid threshold. So. It's up to you guys.
Thank you. We're looking at possibly having the swearing in on the first meeting in January the 6th. Would that be convenient? Those who ran this past year and have that for the swearing in date. It's good with all 3 of you.
Yeah.
We'll have our next meeting.
What's the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's sure. That's fine.
Do you want to have a reception beforehand, or you just gonna have the swearing in when the board?
Firstly, that's nice, but I don't think many people really participate in it too much. As far as you end up with a lot of petty fours and.
I get them for the last few years, they're not made anymore locally.
So, I mean, for me, I'm okay just to get sworn in, but these other two guys,
I'm totally fine with
they
this.
want cookies and. Y'all, okay, that's all. We don't need to have a,
We can walk out the reception and swear in you.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll do that. Unless y'all have some questions of me.
Anybody? Sure. Okay, moving right along, citizen to be heard, please come forward.
Diana Burkett, 1910 Juniper Avenue. I want to bring something up and ask you guys to see if you can find somebody on the board that would participate. We're working at the shelter to put together a task force. We have a bad animal problem in this county, and it's getting worse. And so we need the cities, both cities, somebody on the county to work with us. We've requested project money from the state. Jason Schoaf is helping us with that. To have spade and neuter clinics. We're looking for vouchers. We're trying to do everything we can. But there's fines and punishments, and there's a new ordinance. Jamie, I don't know if you, Jeremy, I'm sorry. No, you got a clean copy?
I do.
Okay, I'll get you a clean copy, Mayor. We're gonna ask that both cities approve that. It follows, state statute 828, which includes puppy mills, breeding. The governor just passed some stuff about Dexter's law about breeding. And we have a major problem here, guys, and we need to address it, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. There's gonna be dogs that eventually, unfortunately, Commissioner Langston, that's gonna come off of Avenue A, and they're gonna be on Reed Avenue, and they're gonna be a pack of dogs. These breeders cannot continue to breed and not follow the statute to breed animals, and then when they don't sell the puppies, they turn them loose, and they become feral, unsocialized, and they become dangerous. I think the chief might remember a while back, we had a pack on Westcott Circle that was killing other animals. My question to you is, what are you gonna do? A pack of those dogs go on Reed Avenue and bite people and kill a person walking their dog down Reed Avenue.
So your request is that we sign the, go along with it?
Well, we're gonna do the ordinance, but we need a task force and we need to have some town hall meetings. We have got to address this problem, because I can't keep working 365 days a year controlling this problem. My staff can't keep doing it. And if y'all in the county get back in the dog business, it's gonna cost you a whole lot of money.
Yeah, okay.
So this is an issue that has got to be addressed, and we gotta do it right away.
Okay.
Okay?
Keep that in mind. Yeah,
And I'm just asking, trust me, we're doing everything we can, Mayor.
I understand. We appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah, and I just need some help to have town hall meetings to address this problem and educate the public and try to stop some of this. Breeders have laws they have to follow.
Mr. Langston said he'd volunteer.
Okay, Eric, and I'm gonna get with Sandy too, just because if there's places in the county, I mean, I can name the places. We brought in 26 cats and cats in November, and we moved 18. I've been on the phone all morning to Miami, Tampa, and Jacksonville trying to move animals. I can't keep doing this because the people are so ignorant, excuse this, that they can't understand that they can't keep doing this.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
feral animals are dangerous, Mayor, okay? So I don't want y'all to get in trouble. Read that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, who's next?
Robert Branch, Marvin Avenue, this is a continuation of last week. I made y'all promise I would be back, so here I am. We finished with, Field Dreams Avenue, the name change. Y'all give 4 different answers. Mayor, lawyer, Mr. Anderson, 4 different answers. So I went back and watched what y'all said. Actually, your city lawyer, Mr. Cahill, said, agreed that this road, Field Dreams Avenue, does not belong to the county. Okay, and with me saying that, he said easement is not ownership, which that's not, the easement is ownership. The easement goes to the 60-acre sports complex. Y'all have all that information. So, I'm gonna start with the easement agreement once more. I'm gonna read y'all 4 items. The city shall have the sole right to construct the roadway, which the city constructed, Field Dreams Avenue. Maintenance and repair. The city agrees to maintain the easement parcel in safe condition. The city agrees to promptly repair any damage. So what Mr. Hoffman said last, meeting about, I don't want the road, I don't want to pay $260,000. You don't have no choice. When you built the road, y'all signed a legal document that says you will maintain the road. Lastly, item number 9, easement is solely for the benefit of the 60 acres. That's what St. Joe give y'all this easement for, solely for the benefit, and y'all agreed to it, legally agreed to it. Now, I'm gonna finish with this. The easement granted here is solely for the benefit of property and runs with the deed. Okay, so I went back and found one more legal document, actually county minutes. And I'm gonna read them, same thing you got there. After July 14, 2009, 6 months after this easement was given to you and y'all built the road, this is what County Attorney McFarland stated. Attorney McFarland discussed there are 2 things the city needs to do in this agreement. By this agreement, this easement agreement, the county will say that the city can traverse the county's right of way, and the city is agreeing, the county is agreeing to the annexation of the 60 acres. Commissioner Phil McCrone voted for this last year. Big conflict of interest. Y'all need to go back and get your road back that belongs to the city, not the county or the paper company, and change the name back for the public.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, Christy McElroy. I would like y'all to go and look at those 4 pictures from the time that the property was not cut and you had like a small dirt path, fire break, if you will. You will see from the time that property was not cut until the time Miss Gaskin built her child development and the road came in, the fire break was not the road. That was utilized, I believe, for setup in order to pave the Field of Dreams Road. If you look at just those 4 pictures, what you will see is who's now on top of that old fire break road is the Dollar General store and the First Baptist Church. All along in those 4 photographs, it was clear that there would be a new road, and all along that historical, from the time that the property wasn't cut till now, that road was always named Field of Dreams Road. All you gotta do is look at those 4 photographs. That road belongs to the city. does not belong to the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Mr. These first.
Well, I had nothing till the last minute or two. So, I'm gonna ask that, city staff reach out to Ms. Gaskin, because I keep hearing about this. And I'd like to know, does she even want the city to go back and put the burden on her and her business that she opposed, from what I'm hearing, when the county changed it? And I kind of get a little bit of an understanding as a home, business owner, they would be opposed to the change, because you have to go back and change all of your information, all of your letterhead. They had the same issue come up in Panama City a few months ago when they decided that, county would change part of, Beach Drive.
Yep.
Because to commemorate an anniversary, I believe, of the Navy. So they named it like Navy Boulevard or Navy Street. And the the business owners were very upset with the county because of the issue of changing all of their information. So I'd like to know what Ms. Gaskin's opinion on of changing it back, or is she like, leave it alone? I think that would lay heavy, at least on my opinion, as to either helping her or hurting her, because I think, I'll say it again, I believe it's a negative impact to the city to even take the ownership of the road. So that's all I'd ask. That's all I got. Thank you.
I left it all out there for the cheeseburger, so I'm good.
Same here. Well, one thing I did bring up when we were talking about traffic flow and stop signs and whatnot.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah, we
got
need,
you on that track.
we need to, with the increase of traffic downtown and people constantly looking for parking and pulling in. One thing I've noticed is in the alleys and stuff, we're getting more and more traffic through there. I know cameras at Knox's and see it all night, all the time, but there's no stop signs, there's no straight line markers or anything as you come to Crossroads. I think at some point, somebody's gonna be using that alley and they're gonna pull out right in front of somebody and they're gonna say, it's not my fault, there wasn't a stop sign there.
No.
Or at least a painted stripe that says stop.
Yeah. That's good. I'll give it to Chief. Probably will.
That's it.
Well, I don't have anything, I just want to wish everyone Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If I don't see you, enjoy your holiday and be safe.
Very good, very good. And I can certainly echo that. So hope everybody has a great holiday season, and we'll see you back here, January 6th. Thank you all for coming.